Here we go. Live from Las Vegas, it's the report card on YouTube Live. Alongside Mike Perkins.
Whoa, Eric.
What's the matter, Iceman?
Where's Laser?
I thought he was with you.
No, I thought he was with you. Here we go again.
Hi, guys.
Christian, roll the intro.
Let's talk some hockey, shall we? And 90% of the time, that's probably a good idea. Shall we talk about the Vegas Showcase?
Where do we begin?
Where do we end? Yeah, that's a good point. We were off to a great start. Christian, you got that? Write that down. Chuck hasn't sung yet, so that's good. I think we need to do that. That sounds like a fantastic idea.
I like it. Glad we survived the Armageddon.
Yes, we did.
Welcome, everybody, to the Report Card Season 3 premiere here on YouTube Live for the first time.
You gotta be kidding me.
You know, we found out we were going to be renewed. You know why? It's that acting chops that we have right there. That's what it is.
Not too shabby, EP. Not too shabby.
Are you okay, by the way? Are you fine? Oh, my goodness.
Laser, you almost wrecked the set.
I know.
We've been here setting up for 2 hours. He almost kills himself on the court
and rehearsed it
table.
4 or 5 times, and then he comes in on the actual cut and almost wrecks it.
Takes out the whole thing.
My goodness.
That's
what
awesome.
a start.
That's awesome.
It's the Season 3 premiere of the Report Card here on YouTube Live. Hello, everybody. Alongside the Iceman, Mike Perkins, and the Laser, Chuck Lasik, I'm Eric Pessolano, welcoming you to, again, our Season 3 premiere. Oh, my goodness. That was a good time.
That might be the best intro we've had so far.
I think you're right. We have a lot for you in store today here on the Report Card. We have so many things we're going to talk about today. We're going to look back to last season in the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League. We're going to look forward to this season. We're going to look back at the NHL draft that just occurred not too long ago. A lot of things going on there.
We had to put our stamp on that.
Yes, we did. We got a lot of league changes coming up this year, some personnel changes, some operational changes. We're going to get to all of that. We've got a very long show for you here today from Summerlin, Nevada. Again, City National Arena has been so nice to host us. They roll out the red carpet every time we're here. As you can see, the beautiful backdrop that we have here in the arena. This, of course, is the practice facility of the Vegas Golden Knights. And it's good to be back in Vegas, boys. Our second show here in the desert.
No, definitely. Absolutely love this place. Well, who doesn't love this place? It's very hard not to love this place. But just the accommodations that we get from this people of this arena and the Knights, it's more than gratifying.
Probably the most exciting part for me is how the hockey is growing here in Vegas. In fact, right now they're in the middle of construction on a second facility in Henderson, which is in the southeast portion of Las Vegas. We're here in Summerlin, which is up in the northwest part of the Vegas metropolitan area. So on 2 ends of the planet here in the Vegas world, they're going to have two-sheet facilities and really be able to grow the game of hockey here. And they've already done so much in just a short time with the Vegas Golden Knights, and now they're just going to take it to another level.
We're going to talk a lot about the Vegas Golden Knights, the Junior Golden Knights program a little bit later on the show. We're with you for an hour here on the Report Card. Stick around all the way until the end. We've got a very special announcement coming your way as we wrap things up from here in the desert. Well, guys, this is our kickoff of the 2019-2020 season, but let's rewind the clock a little bit. We're going to go back and look at the 2018-2019 season, and we're going to start with the championship games that ended our year over at 5 Point Arena. Great Park Ice, our first season in that facility. We'll talk more about the facility later on, but let's start with the Commissioner's Cup final in Varsity Division 3. Irvine United took on Corona Norco, the Warriors, with a big upset in that championship game. They win it 3-2, and what a performance by Irvine United, Coach.
You got to give it to Evan Cordovi, who had a fantastic game. He scored the second and third goals for his team to ultimately win 3-2. He was a big frame. It was very difficult for Corona Norco to stop him, and he just came through in the end and led his team to the championship. Low-scoring championship game, Chuck. Jacob Hahn from Irvine, 27-29 in the save department. Evan Pollock on the other side stopped 20 of 23. Great showing by the netminders.
No, exactly, and don't forget that it was actually Corona Norco who jumped out to that 2-0 lead, and we're all going up. Here we go again.
Buckley Roberts had a goal.
On top of that, though, but you also had, as you mentioned before, Jacob Hahn was just the man in between the pipes, did a great job, and basically stole the championship, I think, off the sticks of Corona Norco.
Yeah, that was the first of our championship games on that Saturday, and it was quite a battle. The Warriors, they had to come from behind in virtually every playoff game they played during that D3 playoff,
That's true.
They were able to pull it off. They shut down the highest scoring team in varsity Division III. They win it 3-2. Warriors raise the Commissioner's Cup.
You got to give it to Coach Rick Hutchison, who's been a part of this league for so long. For him to finally break through and get a championship, well deserved. Him and his staff did a fantastic job with that group over the course of the year, and battled some injuries through the year as well. And then finally to come out on top at the end. Congrats to Hutch, of course.
Yeah, great job for the Warriors. Of course, one of the marquee matchups of that day. We knew it was going to be a battle to the end. It didn't quite turn out the way we thought it would, but whenever Capistrano United and Pacific Ridge take the ice, it's a fun one. It was their sixth matchup of the season. Pacific Ridge won the first 5, and what do you know it? The Coyotes, they come to play in that title game. They win the H&S Ventures Cup 5-0, shutting out the Firebirds. What a performance again in a championship game by the Coyotes, Chuck.
No, exactly. Especially you have Zach Lane, who was basically the MVP, not only of that the game, but of the season right there. He had 2 goals, 2 assists. Garrett Kennedy was 16 for 16 on saves, and they finally found a way to break through and break the curse that Pacific Ridge had, the Firebirds had set. So great job by Kappa United, and you know what? Team just keeps getting better and better.
Back-to-back Division II championships for Capistrano United, the first team in the division to do that, and it's also their 4th title all-time, which is the most in the division. And Iceman, I got to ask you, how does John LeBay continue to put that kind of a product on the ice year in, year out?
Well, he puts a lot of work in and making sure that he finds the players throughout his district, and the kids want to be a part of it. It's a well-run organization. Him and Mike Townsend do a fantastic job, of course, with the coaching staff that John's put together. They all do a fantastic job with the Division I, Division III, and JV. But you got to give it to Capo in the championship game. They did the one thing in that game that they hadn't been able to do all year, and that was jump out ahead early. And they did that. And Lane got a great feed from Joel Stenari early in the game, and he banged it in the back of the net, and they just never looked back from there. And it was and Pacific Ridge could just never get their footing as much as they tried. Then they ran into Kennedy on the back end, which he did a great job keeping Pacific Ridge off the board.
I think a stunning game from our perspective, but not necessarily a stunning result. Capistrano United always there in the end. They pull it off again. They get their 4th Division II title.
Most of all time.
Most of all
Did
time.
you already say that or not?
I did.
Oh, okay. Oh.
But, you know,
Anyway.
it's always great to have some reiteration.
Okay. There you
Appreciate
go.
the
No
backup.
problem.
Thanks. We move to the Division I championship game, the Shulman Cup final. And what else is new? It's J. Sarah Santa Margarita, the mother of all battles. And for the first time in school history, J. Sarah sweeps a season series against Santa Margarita, and they shut out the Eagles in the title game 2-0, the final. And Chuck, it was your boy Blake Reed getting things started early.
53 seconds in, he gets the goal. And then basically it was a battle of 0-0 the whole time through until the final. It was at 15:47, so you had 13 seconds left. C.J. Gerard scores the empty netter and basically seals the victory for J. Sarah. I mean, a great job that they did taking care of Santa Margarita, but Santa Margarita had some other plans.
You'll notice that our highlight reel for this particular game is not very long. It was a very gritty, grind-em-out defensive performance for the two teams, and it all started with Jack Ferletic in between the pipes for the Lions.
Probably the best part for me was the end when they handed out the trophy and the joy that Blake Reed had in winning that championship.
Oh, yeah.
He was so excited, sitting up in the stands and seeing that. It was fun to see all the culmination of years, and he's had some success in the years prior, but winning that championship his senior season, being able to walk out the back door with that championship, he was obviously visibly excited, and obviously we're going to be looking forward to seeing what he's going to do here in the future.
If you look at the three goaltenders who won the championship games for their teams in varsity, it was a 68 out of 70 saves between Jacob Hahn, Garrett Kennedy, and Jack Ferletic.
Well, you got to mention Jack Ferletic, too. He had just an unbelievable senior season, and it culminated with state championship, league championship, and then on into nationals, and he just had a fantastic year.
Don't forget about Brandon Yamasaki, though, either. He stopped 23 of 24. shots. Like we mentioned, there was an empty netter at the back, so he did his best to keep Santa Margarita in at during the entire game. Outstanding job by him as well.
Chuck, the one goal that did get past him from Blake Reed was an absolute bullet.
Oh, it was a ball.
But Reed steps off the wall and just fires one over the top of his shoulder, and there's just nothing he could do about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great performance by both teams in that title game. Lions come away with that 2-0 victory. Our JV champions from last season, the Damien Spartans, won the Harbor Division Championship, and Pacific Ridge got their first championship in school history as they won the Lincoln Division. So we talked a lot about the varsity teams and how defense, goes on to win championships. Lions get the last laugh in the ADHSHL year, but then if you take a look at Santa Margarita, they go on and get the last laugh nationally, and they win another national title. They beat Edina from Minnesota, and of course they beat Regis Jesuit last year in that epic championship game where Joey Felichicchia tied the game late, and then Solani with the winner in overtime. Third national championship for the Eagles in school history, and they are back-to-back champions as well.
Well, they sure do put it on the ice at the national tournament, and they did it again last year. And you gotta mention Josh Hayden and Brendan Williams, who got 2 goals each in the championship game against Edina, who's a very, very good hockey team. So it doesn't surprise me. Of course, I think we all would have liked to see Jay Serra have a little bit better fortune in that tournament because they were such a good team. But Santa Margarita showed up, and they found a way to win.
Yeah, I mean, this Eagle team, if they get into that national tournament, they're going to be the force. And everybody's got to beat them now. Everyone's going to be looking up at them once you get to that national tournament.
I think that Coach Craig Johnson does a fantastic job of developing his team throughout the year, knowing that they're going to find a way into that tournament and have them ready to play when they play against those top teams from around the country.
Talk about Craig Johnson. Boy, our segues are right on point.
My goodness. Yeah.
I did that on purpose.
In our Season 3 premiere.
We're sounding professional.
How about
this?
Wow. So Craig Johnson's son was the major headline just a short time ago at the NHL entry draft. His son Ryan, of course, taken 31st overall by the Buffalo Sabres. He is the first alumni in Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League history to be drafted in the first round of the NHL entry draft. And we got to see Ryan play a lot in the league, and we know that the Sabres are going to be happy with what they found.
Well, no doubt. I think for us, when we watch him, we notice him as an offensive type of player.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But, of course, across the hockey world, he's a little bit more noted as a defensive player with a really good stick, especially keeping pucks in at the blue line in the offensive zone. And then his foot speed and his skills as a skater are going to help him get the puck up the ice and be able to transition the puck and help his team in the future. Of course, he's going to make a stop before he gets to Buffalo at the University of Minnesota, which is going to be exciting. He'll be a freshman there this year, and I got to believe he's going to be taking off for Minneapolis here in the next couple of weeks, and we'll be looking forward to watching him on Big Ten Network.
Yeah, there you go. I also recommend he bring a jacket. The weather out there is slightly different.
A little frightful.
Than Southern
but
California.
I guarantee you, inside Mariucci Arena, it'll be hopping and very warm. So I hope to get back sometime over the course of the winter, and hopefully I get a chance to watch him play.
And now Ryan may be the only former alumni in the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League taken in the first round, but he was not the only Southern California talent in the area. Of course, talking about Cam York, who went to Orange Lutheran High School. He didn't play in the ADHSHL.
From Anaheim Hills.
But he's still from Anaheim Hills, taken 14th overall by the Philadelphia Flyers, and the Southern California talent taking 2 out of the first 31 there.
Well, I think the real storyline with Cam York is that the United States National Development Program had several players drafted in the first round, and he was just one of them, along with, of course, another segue here, Trevor Zegras, who was drafted 9th by the Anaheim Ducks. So we're excited about that. Was also part of the United States National Development Team program, and
weren't there like 8 kids drafted?
Seven or eight players in the first round that were drafted out of that program. So obviously a great job here in the U.S. and producing players that are going to be draft picks and future players in the NHL.
Cam didn't play in the ADHSHL, but his brother Garrett did. And we got to see Garrett play for Orange Lutheran for a few years also. So a lot of connections to the teams in our league, and it's good to see that notoriety is coming, and they're going to make their way up into the league.
Well, listen, we all know that there's great athletes in Southern California, and I've said this all along, is that if we find those high-level athletes and they play hockey, they're going to move on. They're going to find ways to transition and move up the ladder, and Cam York and Ryan Johnson are just a couple at this time right now that are moving up the ladder, and we'll look forward to seeing some more come through our system in the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League and hopefully get drafted here in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
And speaking of segues, great segues, they got a great new facility to play at too.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yes, they do. Look at you go. Boy, everybody helping out here today. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to need it. So we talk about coming out here to the desert for the second time that we've hosted the report card here from City National Arena. Let's talk about the Vegas Junior Golden Knights. Now, this is a program that last year brought 3 teams into the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League. They had 2 in Varsity Division II and 1 at Varsity Division III. They're going to shift things up a little bit this year. They're going to D3 and JV this year, but they get this nice place to practice in, and we can see that the talent levels from the Golden Knights program, they're on their way up too.
Well, the exciting part is one of those teams that was in our league last year went on to win a 16AA national championship at the, I think it was at the Division One level at 16AA in Dallas, Texas last April. So again, obviously a good job of developing players here through this program. Exciting to see them have some success, and I think that success will only breed more opportunity for younger players coming up the ladder.
When you get to play in a building like this, it almost, or even if you don't play hockey and you come into this place and you see it, Chuck, it almost is kind of a push, like, hey, maybe I should go try that out and see what can happen.
You could just feel the vibe all around the city. And I would have thought, actually, we're coming into Vegas. Here it is, the beginning of August. And you're seeing kids practicing on the ice all the time now. And it's not a detriment, but a compliment to what they are doing out here in Vegas. I mean, it's just showing. Everywhere you go, you see Vegas Strong, the stickers and stuff like that with the Knights. They have the lights.
Hey, on the way in town here, we saw license plates. Vegas lights. They have actual Golden Knights license plates here.
Yes, exactly. So. And it's amazing how quickly, and people were at first wondering, is the NHL or will the Vegas adapt to the NHL? I think they have their answer, and they got a boon out here in the desert.
And the Golden Knights, we were looking at it earlier, favorites to win the Pacific Division next year. So, I mean, hockey out here in the desert is just growing and growing. Every time we come out, we see more people. We came out here, and when we were pulling into the parking lot, I remember thinking to ourselves, who's going to be out here on a Monday night in the middle of summer at the hockey rink? And we got our answer. We had to park a little further away than we thought we were going to.
And we walked in here, there was stick time lessons going on. There was kids getting hockey lessons. And then it segued on one side, there was public skating. On the other side, they were doing some freestyle, some lesson time for figure skaters. So again, just a lot of the same stuff that we see at our own rinks back home that's going on here. And it's just going to take them a little bit of time, but I guarantee you here in Vegas, it's the game of hockey is going to continue to grow and grow.
You know, we talk about the U.S. men's national team. That I think just because of that, we're going to find athletes that we didn't find before out here in the desert that could actually help that team. And that's, I think, part of the reason why we're shifting to where we're seeing a lot of more NHL draft picks coming from the junior national team.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see, especially when these entry drafts keep coming up and we see the kids from down here in the lower Southwest getting taken into the NHL entry draft. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be interesting. Speaking of development and growth, how about our new digs here? Look at these microphones.
Pretty darn nice. We were awfully lucky to have somebody that really believes in us, that wants to put some money into our show. So a big thank you to the Ducks and Mr. Blanchard.
We have never been ones to shy away from being real. Our audio last season, it wasn't great.
No, it was horrible.
It wasn't great.
It was horrible.
We heard you at home, and we're trying to fix it.
Yes.
So here we are.
We are puppets of the masses. Is that right?
There you go.
Yeah,
that'll
puppet
work.
of the masses. Yes.
They wanted to hear us loud and clear, and unfortunately for them, they got what they wanted. So we got nice new equipment here, and hopefully this is going to be a fun new way to explore the report card as we go forward. So thank you all for watching and tuning in. This, of course, is the first time we're coming to you live on YouTube Live as we switch to a new platform here for the report card. We will throughout the season. Got about a dozen or so episodes planned for the year, so stick around and check out the YouTube Live platform. Make sure you find out when our next shows are going to be. There's no real set firm dates yet. We'll get to that as we go down the line, but you're going to get the same
Rome
great
wasn't
coverage
built
we've
in
been
a
trying to
day.
bring you
Oh, yeah.
the last couple of years. What's that?
I said Rome wasn't built in a day. Neither was Vegas, so you got to give us some time.
Hey, that's a good point. What did we say? We're on episode 23, 24?
23, 24,
somewhere
somewhere
we're
in
on
there.
episode 24.
That's a good guess.
What's the anniversary for 25?
Silver in it.
Is that silver?
Yeah.
It's a silver anniversary, right? Yeah.
Something.
Well, I'll get you something later.
That's years.
We'll talk about it. No, I know.
Hey, talk about the years too. You're number 12 now, isn't it? For you and I.
11.
We're
We're going into 11. Last year was 10. Yeah, now we're into 11.
11?
You and I.
Okay.
Yeah. And it'll be number 9 officially for the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League once they moved into the expansion era.
True.
Which means next year.
We're gonna have
Next year's the big one.
granddaddy them all.
Yeah, we got the 10-year anniversary of the
Can you
ADHSHL
believe that,
next year.
guys?
10 years.
No, actually, I
10
cannot.
And I keep on looking younger, honestly.
Well, and he's as a fleet of foot as ever, as we saw in that open. Yeah, later on, rewind and see what happened at the top of the
I
show.
was going to ask,
Hope for your own sanity, don't.
when can we get a replay of that one?
As soon as we get off the air, we're going to put it on a loop. And I think that's probably going to be in our new intro. That's going to have to happen. I think that's where we're at. I think glasses and boa chuck is going to be a thing.
You know, it crossed my mind when we were doing the run through a couple of times. Like, we're doing this just a couple too many times because when we're going to go right to live, that's when something will happen.
Because we nailed every single one of our dry runs before we did this. We did a few rehearsals, and all of them were perfect. And then, of course, he darn near trips and falls.
He takes out the show.
If you have a GIF of that and you want to post it on social media, go ahead and hashtag Chuck is tripping. I think that'll be great. Let's get that trending worldwide if you can.
It's going viral.
Let's talk about the upcoming season, boys. This is going to be our first full year over at 5 Point Arena and Great Park Ice. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. You see some of the shots from the facility. It's been updated even since the last time we were there. Restaurant is getting close.
Yep.
It's going to open soon.
Yes, restaurant is very close.
Snack bar is open.
It's open.
We got new graphics on the walls all around the facility. It's really starting to feel like home, not just for us, but for the Anaheim Ducks as well. And we can't wait for a full season there.
Yeah, Pro Shop is open.
Yep.
Duck Store is open. Snack bar is open. All 4 rinks are going constantly throughout the mornings and days and evenings and nights. So just obviously a very exciting time to be a part of that facility and what's going on over there.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the changes going on at Great Park Ice, we also have a lot of changes coming around in the league
my
itself
goodness.
this season. Yeah,
A lot of changes. I think that's a
let's start with the schedule. Here's
Understatement.
one of my favorite parts about the schedule. It both expanded and was condensed all at the same time. And a lot of that is thanks to Great Park Ice, right? We have a lot more sheets of ice to play on. It's going to be a 20-game season for all the varsity teams this year. They're going to play 18 regular season games, and for the first time, an established preseason, which will feature 2 games for each of the varsity teams as well. Stay tuned later on, by the way. A couple of those preseason games you're going to be able to watch live and for free on YouTube Live, of course, in association with Black Dog Hockey. We're going to be so thrilled to show you some preseason games. You get to check out the new facility, and it's going to be free. So log on to YouTube Live for those. Those are going to be probably late September, around when preseason starts. Looking forward to that, guys. This is a new venture for us. But October to February is the regular season, and it's a lot shorter, and it's going to go really quick.
You know, I really like that format. It really resembles high school sports from a winter sports season standpoint across the country in California. So you're right. We expand, but we condense it into a smaller season, which makes those games so important in that time frame. And your team has to be prepared for those games because they come fast and furious. And that's what makes for exciting sports is, and part of the reason why I love high school sports so much is because the players are not as polished as they are at the professional level, which they're suspect to potential mistakes, which is what makes the game fun because you're going to get to see some real good scoring opportunities when somebody does make a mistake. I know coaches aren't going to be so happy about that, but that's just the way the game goes.
Now, here's the interesting part for me, because the regular season has been expanded as far as total games are played. You have to adjust the rostering rules a little bit, right? They're all based on percentages. And we all know, look, it's no secret. There's always a battle between kids who are dual rostered, who play on both their club team and play for their high school team. Now you're going to have to play more games for your high school team if you want to be eligible for the postseason. I think that's going to be a nice added wrinkle, both in two ways. One, playoffs are going to be way more exciting. And number two, kids are going to get on the ice more.
Yeah, I think it's important to recognize that there's so many players that are committed to high school hockey right now, and it's growing and growing each and every year. And to put a little bit more emphasis into their high school seasons during that shortened October to February season, it's just going to make it a little bit more exciting and more meaningful in the end when the players do finish their seasons and hopefully get into a playoff game or a championship game.
Yeah, absolutely, Chuck. I mean, I think the postseason next year and even the regular season is going to have probably a lot more meaning as far as seeding is concerned, because you're going to have a lot more kids getting a lot more time to gel with their teammates as the season goes on.
No, exactly. And we've seen teams that are like, you have your typical teams. Perky's teams used to do that all the time. They used to bird dog us in the beginning, and at the end they come back and win the championship. It's all about that climb, getting up there for playoff time. And I think that is one of the greatest things to watch. All these kids start gelling, everything start moving along, and you're seeing some quality hockey come January. And then as we go into the playoffs, it's especially after 20 games, it's going to get a little more feisty and stuff like that too. You're going to see some good hitting, hard crashing hockey with some great playing, great goaltending as always.
And of course, every year we always see a lot of shifting of teams from one division to another. Schools add teams. Sometimes schools remove teams just to build up a better, solid primary team. We're going to see a lot of those changes this year. We're going to talk about them in a minute, but I'm going to let Iceman go ahead and make his comment.
Yeah, I think that's just part of our natural progression in the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League, is that we're going to face some ebbs and flows from season to season, program to program, and we're just going to keep trucking through. And I think all the coaches that are in the league right now, they're all committed to this project and continue to grow. We're going into year 9. We're almost going to be in year 10 the year after, and really we're in some infancy stages, but I think we're just driving towards that 25-year marker, and once we get there, then things will really kind of settle into more of a consistent pattern.
Yeah, you
would say. And I think that's where we're all trying to get to. And the good news is that there's already some programs that are making the headway to that. You take a look at the two major programs that have been around the longest, SM and J. Sarah, and they're already on their way to that kind of stuff.
All right, guys, this is going to be the fun part. Are we ready to take a look at the divisions for this year?
All right, let's do it.
I'm telling you what, we got a lot of changes. Let's start with a couple of key points before we reveal. First, we're going to show you the divisions from last year, and then we're going to compare them and then switch over and show you what it's going to be this year. So let's give you a few notes first. We're going to start with schools that are switching divisions. So Pacific Ridge, they're going to move from Division 2. They're making the leap up to Division 1. The Firebirds are making that leap. We knew they would eventually, and it's going to happen this season.
They've wanted to all along. It's just a matter of building up their program and they obviously after last season, they just felt like this year was the year to do it.
Well, I think they proved they can play last year. I mean, they had a big game, as far as a seeding standpoint, against Santa Margarita, and the Eagles went down there, and they beat them. PSR beat them last year. PRS.
Yes.
PRS beat them, but Pacific Ridge beat them last year. So, it shows that they can play in the league, and I think it's a boon for Division 1, where actually you're going to see all these schools now playing against each other all the time. It's going to be great hockey. We remember we used to complain about the D1, D2. It's more and more come together. The talent levels, you can't tell the difference anymore, honestly.
Hold that thought. Let's talk about St. John Bosco. Obviously, ebbs and flows a lot with the high school leagues. Of course, they lost a lot of talent from last season, and of course, they struggled last year. Still made a pretty decent showing in the postseason. They're going to drop. They're going to go down to Division 3 this year. Big move for Thomas Capusa and Bosco going to D3.
Yeah, I just think again, coaches and programs trying to figure out the best place for their players so that they have a chance for success depending upon where they are in their progress and development. And we all know this in high school sports, that senior-laden teams typically have the most success. And when you don't have those seniors and even juniors, it makes it difficult to be able to compete against those teams that do have juniors and seniors. So, this is Coach Capusa is just going to rebuild and get some good freshmen and sophomores into his program, and he'll continue to build up that program like he has in the past.
Absolutely. And then we're going to leave you here with the Vegas teams. We talked about it a little bit just a bit ago. Both Vegas Junior Golden Knights Division II teams have dropped. They are no more in our league. They're just going to be D3 and JV coming up this season, so a big change there. So if you're following along, that means Pacific Ridge, St. John Bosco, and both Vegas D2 teams have left D2. And if you remember, there were 6 Division II teams last year. So that leaves us with Capistrano United and La Jolla Country Day. We'll talk about Division II in just a minute. Let's go over to Division III. Take a look at this graphic from last season. This is the Douglas Conference from last year in D3. You had Edison, Capistrano United, of course, Irvine United, Santa Margarita, Beckman, North County, Poway, and Central Cathedral, right? So that was last year's varsity Division III. There's not going to be any more conferences in Division III. Let's get that out of the way right off the bat. D3 has kind of been jumbled all together into one giant division. And we talked about Division II just a little bit ago. We remember Division II last year's 6 teams. Capistrano United, La Jolla Country Day, the only teams remaining from D2. Well, we're going to find out their fate in just a minute. But first, let's take a look at Varsity Division III for the 2019-2020 season. You see it right there.
Remember, this is still tentative. But
This is still tentative, but these are the preliminary division alignments. You'll see Carlsbad United there. Carnegie Schools Riverside is going to jump up to Division III, making their varsity debut. You see Damien in there, making a leap from JV as well. Modern Day, Placentia, Yorba Linda. I see the Saddleback in their team. Look at that.
The Rangers.
Coming up back to varsity. Are the Rangers. Santa Margarita Servite, we talked about the Vegas Junior Golden Knights and the Villa Park Spartans. They are going to make up Varsity Division III. A lot of you out there thinking, where are all the other teams that were in the other conference? Like, what happened to everybody in that D3? Well, hold on to your hats. First off, let's talk about D3 for this season.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how this is all going to shake out, and of course, I'm excited that Saddleback Rangers program is going to be a part of that division. So exciting on that end of things for me, of course. But the other teams are really good, strong programs, and we'll look forward to seeing how that season goes.
Chuck, what are your thoughts on the D3 for this year as it is?
I think it's going to be wide open. It'll be interesting, once again, to see what goes on, especially you talk about Bosco dropping down, and it's I think it's going to be very exciting just all the way around.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see D3 this year as well. You got a lot of even talent in there. It's going to make the playoffs a lot more exciting. Going to make the regular season exciting as well. So let's go talk about Varsity Division II. I mentioned a little bit ago about St. John Bosco. Let's take a look at Varsity Division II from last season. So there's Capistrano United, La Jolla Country Day, Pacific Ridge, Bosco, and Vegas. And we told you we're gonna lose those 3 logos there on the bottom right of your screen. And that left Capistrano and La Jolla Country Day. Well, let's take a look at Division II this year. I mentioned earlier Bosco's dropping to D3. Well, guess what? D3 has essentially been split up. So this is the new Division II. It's basically the upper D3 from last year. So Bosco's staying in Division II, albeit it's a different level of play now. You see Beach Cities listed first. You have Beckman, Capistrano United, Central Cathedral, Corona Norco, Edison, Irvine United. You have North County, Poway, Bosco, and Upland Christian Academy. And oh my goodness, the array of teams we're going to see in D2. Who wants to start?
Yeah, that's a nice grouping of programs, and obviously all those programs have developed and grown over the years. And some kind of like with the Oilers, they've kind of grouped together the Beach City group, Huntington and Long Beach programs coming together to make one program. And then of course seeing Bosco there and Edison. Of course, Coach David Walker and his group there, they do a fantastic job year after year, and looking forward to seeing where they end up.
And quickly to clarify, that Capistrano United team that's in Division II was last year's Division III team.
Correct.
So they are in Division II, but this is a different team from last year. And also to keep in mind, these are currently tentative division alignments.
Exactly.
Things could happen. We could find things out in preseason, which is what the preseason is for. And maybe we have to shift things around a little bit as far as the league is concerned. But right now, these are the alignments in the ADHSHL. Chuck, what do you think of Division II?
No, I think Division II is, once again, and I hate to keep on using it, but it's going to be wide open. I mean, you look at Beckman moving up, or Irvine United. I think, you're going to have Beckman probably reloading after we saw them win it a couple years ago. And it's going to be very interesting to see how. Plus, you're going to have some of the San Diego schools. What's that? North County is still out there, up there and stuff. I think it's going to be very interesting. Of course, the Beach City's coming in as well. I think it's very exciting for Division II. It's going to give a whole new alignment and a whole different style, I think, of play possibly. So look forward to see what goes on with D2.
And we remember North County last year had a great run in the postseason.
Yes, they did. Yeah, they did. And actually, they were leading. I want to say, weren't they leading Irvine?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, I thought that game was over. I walked away. I was shocked to find out that Irvine ended up winning that. So yeah,
that game was on the Olympic rink
Yes,
over at
I
Anaheim
do
Ice.
recall.
Yeah, that was a great hockey game. All right, let's go to the top now. Let's take a look at last year. This was varsity Division I. Of course, everybody knows it. Bellarmine, Damien J. Serra, Orange Lutheran, Santa Margarita St. Mary's, and Tahoe Hockey Academy. Well, we haven't mentioned La Jolla Country Day yet. We talked about them earlier. Did we not? We talked about Pacific Ridge jumping up. Let's take a look at it. Here's Division I. So we see La Jolla Country Day, we see Capistrano United and Pacific Ridge all jumping up. And boys, we got ourselves a 10-team Division I, the largest it has been in league history.
I'm sorry to jump in here, but this is really exciting for me. It's been a long time coming. Obviously had many talks about how Division I was going to shape up and develop and grow over the years, and to see 10 teams in Division I for me is so exciting. I'm really looking forward to the season and watching those games and being able to call those games.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. And I think this goes back to what Chuck, you said a little bit ago. The lines between Division II and Division I were blurring right before our eyes, and that line is blurred no more. They're all Division I teams.
As we know, the Ridge wanted to become D1, right? That was their goal off the bat, and they get their wish right now. Behind that goaltender who I love, and then on top of it, you look at as well coming up. And Capo United. That should be a D1 team anyway. They just dominated. Didn't dominate, but they were a pretty strong force. They've been a pretty strong force. They have 4 titles now and in D2, so I think they can play with them the best as well, and it's going to be fun to see what goes on. And they were undefeated, I believe, last year against D1 teams, weren't they?
Yeah. They ran the table. They went 4-0. They swept. I think it was 5-0.
Yeah, I think
they
it was
went and
both
swept
Pac
them.
Ridge and Capo.
No, I don't think Pac Ridge. I'm not sure about Pac Ridge.
Not Capistrano, or not Pacific Ridge. Capistrano United swept the crossover games last year.
I'd like to see Pac Ridge's.
That'd be interesting. Oh.
Yeah, it would be. I'm losing my microphone. It's going to be fun.
Here we go.
There we go.
Eric and his mic problems.
We're back already.
We're back in mid-season form.
It was always me too. Exactly. I was always the one. I'm watching it. I'm going to hold it for the rest of the show. This isn't going to be weird at all. Okay, we'll keep going. Because of that, now we know all the divisions. Of course, they are tentatively set. Anything can happen. We could find out in the preseason or even after the first few games of the regular season. So keep an eye on that as things go along. Let's talk about our coverage and what we're going to see on opening weekend in the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League. We are going to kick things off on Friday night, October the 4th. It's going to be Tahoe taking on Capistrano United, a game that would have been a crossover last year, but we're coming right out of the gate with a Division I behemoth matchup. 6:20 p.m. from 5 Point Arena at Grace. We'll have it for you on Black Dog Hockey.
Well, this should be an interesting matchup. I don't think these two teams have faced each other in the past before, so exciting to see. Obviously, Coach LeBay, Coach Fenn, they're going to go head-to-head at 5 Point Arena. And really, for me, I think the exciting and great news to all this will be seeing how many fans that the Capo United program can get into that building. It's so close to their district there, and so many people that are following them, that hopefully they'll be able to bring out some great fan support. And of course, Coach Leo Fenn and his group at Tahoe have had plenty of support here in Southern California, and I'm sure they'll have their own contingency, and then of course parents that will travel along with that program there to get to 5 Point Arena. And so I'm looking forward to that big game.
And that's going to be one of 2 major games on opening night. The other one's going to be down in Carlsbad, Pacific Ridge. Chuck, they're going to try to pull off the homecoming again. We saw what they were able to do last year when we were down there for our opening night game. It's going to be La Jolla Country Day taking on Pacific Ridge at 7:30 p.m. down at Icetown, Carlsbad. Should be a great opening day. Nice rivalry game, too, to open the year.
A great rivalry game. And don't get me wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, I should say, but I believe that the only 2 losses that Pac Ridge had in D2 were to La Jolla Country Day. I think they were
in the regular season.
In the
yeah.
regular season, I think they were 1 and 2 against La Jolla Country Day.
Yeah, they had their number during the year, didn't they?
Exactly.
There's a definite rivalry there as well. I know we talk about Capo and Pac Ridge as a rivalry, which it is, but of course that San Diego flavor there adds something to it, and La Jolla Country Day comes ready to play every time they see those guys.
And they come at them hard. This is a physical team that we like to watch play in the Tories.
We just got to give a quick shout out too. I mean, look at what hockey's coming in San Diego. I mean, that last year, as we mentioned, we kicked off that. We had the kickoff game down there. We had a auditorium full of pep rally. But Pacific Ridge doesn't have a football team, so those students are all behind that hockey team, and they showed up in masses last year. So looking forward to see what they can bring this year as well.
Next thing we have to look forward to is a schedule release. It's going to be sometime soon. I'm going to look at Commish right now. How long until we see the schedule come out? What are we thinking?
August 23rd.
August 23rd?
2
There
weeks.
you go.
A
couple of weeks away.
Yep.
It's not too far off. I know he's got an abacus out and everything trying to get this schedule ready to go.
An abacus.
You got to make everything work, right? It's all scheduling and all that mess, and he gets it done every year. And I already know he's already on version 19. And I think he's got to get to 20 tomorrow.
Well, the one thing to mention, obviously, is that when it comes to scheduling, especially all these teams and all these different rinks, there's always going to be changes made. And I've helped Matt, and I've been a soundboard for him over the years. And just want everybody to know that he puts awful lot of time into this. It's a difficult task to put this down on paper and then be able to try to stick to it. So, hey, we're going to do everything we can to put together a great schedule for everybody this year.
If you think that he just plugs everything into some sort of a computer program that generates the schedule for him, that is not the case. That is not the case. It is.
I don't think it's that easy.
Yeah, no, it is not that easy. I've seen it in action. It's a lot of paper, a lot of pencil and pen, and Excel spreadsheets everywhere that he's got to put everything together. So it's a lot of work. And we certainly would be remiss if we didn't mention the hard work that Commish puts in to get that schedule going.
True that.
So that'll be coming out soon, so look out for that. Coaches' meetings are going to be coming up soon as well. So this season is right around the corner. We're going to be there with you every step of the way. We talked about the preseason coming up on YouTube Live. It'll be near the end of September, so keep an eye out for that. We're going to have a doubleheader for you. The matchups have not yet been determined, but hopefully we'll get those to you soon. If you go onto social media, we had a poll going to see which teams you at home would like to see in a preseason broadcast here on YouTube Live. You can always send a comment in on all the social media channels and let us know who you want to see, and maybe we can get the commission to make that matchup happen.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we'll see how that all goes. And also, of course, the big date coming up February 6th from 5 Point Arena at Great Park Ice. The Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League All-Star Game will be back. That's always a fun event. We get that whole building rocking, too, for that All-Star Game. It's a fun day to watch all three games throughout the evening.
Well, after being at the Honda Center for so many years and then transferring that event over to the 5 Point Arena, last year was just a fantastic evening, and it just felt so much like home that first time, and it was unbelievable. So very, very exciting for us to be a part of that, and I can't wait for that to happen again this season.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, Chuck. We saw in that little clip there the customizable jerseys. We get a lot of video in the building, and it's a lot of fun to see. If you're not in the area and you can't make it, you can watch the All-Star Games on Black Dog Hockey, of course, on February 6th. But it's always a fun event when we get to be in the house for those.
No, exactly. On top of it, the one thing I do look forward to is the jerseys. Then, last year's, I think they're going to be tough to top. So creative juices are going to have to be floating for this year's, and I'm really interested to see what's going to be happening with
Any
that.
ideas, Commish?
Oh, he's nodding
Okay.
yes.
All right.
We have New Jersey designs in the making,
Whalers
maybe.
style.
Well, if he had it his way, they'd just be wearing the Whalers jerseys.
Exactly.
They wouldn't design it around
Home and
it.
away, Whalers.
Yeah, that's all it is. All right, so a lot to look forward to coming up here in Season 9 of the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League. Let's go and look at the new board of the league. A lot of personnel changes. We're going to spotlight a couple of them here. First off, we start in the Deputy Commissioner's office. Of course, the league has expanded so much. Matt Blanchard can't do everything himself anymore, and we've got a new name headed our way. Vicky Egger is stepping into the role of deputy commissioner. Of course, she's been around the league for quite some time now, knows the ins and outs of the operation, going to be a great right-hand help to the commissioner, and we're excited to get her on board here.
Yeah, Vicky obviously knows this league very well. Her time at Bishop Amat was and all the stuff that she did to help build and grow that program is going to be very beneficial for us as a league, and her understanding of how to continue to grow us and develop us as a league.
Plus, you remembered my birthday last year.
Did you get socks?
No, I got
What'd you get?
a cake pop from a certain.
That's right. You got a cake pop.
I got a cake pop from
a certain local establishment.
Establishment, yes.
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 That maybe one day will sponsor the show.
Yes.
Who knows?
Yeah, hey, that's a good idea. There you go.
And, of course, the other big name, it's a new role that's going to move into the board of the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League. It's a director of player advancement who's going to help the players get the information they need. And here to talk more about the role is the man himself, Iceman Mike Perkins, the new director of player advancement in the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League. Congratulations, Iceman.
That there is quite the introduction. I really appreciate it. I'm excited. Obviously, the opportunity to help young people further attain their goals in the game of hockey, and of course academics as well, is very exciting. And I guess the biggest belief that I have is if a player truly wants to play hockey past high school, there's an opportunity for everybody out there, whether it's ACHA college hockey, NCAA hockey, junior hockey, whatever that entails. If you truly want to play hockey past high school, there is a home for you, and I'm excited to be a part of that process.
One thing I wanted to ask you, too, we kind of get a sense of what the role is going to be. I want to know, what is your personal goal stepping into this role and trying to help these kids move on?
My goal is to be available to any coach, player, family for any questions, any advice, and any help that they would need to make those steps and processes possible for each player. And that means phone calls or emails or even meeting in person. And I've sent out emails already to all the programs. Each of the managers have received those emails, kind of outlining some of my ideas and goals at this point. And again, I look forward to working with everybody and just kind of growing this out. But I am excited about a potential podcast that we're going to do that will highlight some of this, and my goal with that is to bring in people that have more information than I do to be able to be able to explain.
That's not possible.
Well, but there are people out there, Chuck. It is true, but some people that can obviously answer questions and give advice to our member teams, coaches, and families and players to be able to get them the best information so that they can educate themselves to be able to make the best decisions for themselves and their futures.
Cool. So if there is one piece of advice you could give that student athlete right now on this show, what would it be?
Take care of your academics, because most coaches won't even look at you unless your academics are in order. Probably number one. I mean, obviously, you got to become a better hockey player. You got to work on your game. But I'll tell you right now, as long as I've been involved in the game and working with players and helping develop and grow them and move them on, probably the biggest question I get, even from junior coaches and of course from college coaches, is how are they academically? And if they can't cut the grade academically, it's going to be very difficult to move them on.
Very well said. I don't think there's much more to say than that. I believe the term, if I'm not correct, is student athlete.
Well,
not the other way
it's
around.
not athlete student.
There you go.
Well, no.
There you go. Of course, leave it up to Chuck.
I have a couple questions about that. That's for a different
anyway,
time.
Congratulations, Iceman.
Thank you.
We're going to be looking forward to it, and I know we're going to get a lot of insight throughout the season.
Yeah, appreciate it. There's going to be a little bit of a learning curve to all this, but and I just want to make everybody know that if you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me.
And he got the plug in there too.
Wow.
I love it. Well, we should have had a graphic ready with his email address.
Part of the deal.
Yeah, it is part of it.
Perky.com.
We told everybody at the coming up at the end of the show, for those of you watching at home, that we've got a very special announcement for you here as we get toward the end of our season premiere of the report card. We've actually got a few of them. So let's start off with our media expansion. It began with the microphones, but it's going to go much more beyond that. We're going to, first off, announce that we're coming back to Vegas this season.
We are.
You thought we were going to come here and do this, our once annual thing? No. We'll be back in December because the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League Vegas Showcase is coming back December 13th through the 15th right here at City National
Get your
Arena
Christmas
once
shopping
again.
done early.
There you go, because around that time, you're going to need to want to tune in to the report card. We'll be doing the show live from here one more time in the middle of December. Now, notice the dates have changed. It's now the second week of December. The calendar's a little different this year, right? Thanksgiving's a week later than it has been recently, so we're backing the week up a little bit. It'll be December 13th through 15th, the third annual Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League Vegas Showcase.
Calendars, my goodness.
Yep, featuring the report card here. So we'll be back in December when it's slightly more cooler than it is outside here right now.
Slightly.
Just a little bit. I'd imagine the difference in temperature is somewhere around 65 to 70 degrees difference.
That's close
It was
enough.
it was in the high 40s when we were here in December.
Okay, all right.
Laser, how exciting is it though to be able to come back here and then of
you
course
saw me when I walked- I love this
get things set up for
Yes.
December, which is always a great event. And I know it's only been a couple of years, but how much fun that the teams have here. It's a great way for them to bond and get to know each other fairly early in the season. And I think for the teams that use it the right way, it's a catalyst for their second half of the year.
What I also like too is it's also a opportunity for Vegas to play at home in front of their own fans too. You know, exactly, schoolmates and stuff like that might not be able to make the trip all the time or see all these teams that they usually play out here. So I think it's a good thing. It's a good showcase for the Vegas squads. But again, I mean, we were afraid. I remember after year one, after making that, making the announcement, will anybody come and play? And we had to beat them off with the sticks. Same thing next year, or next year. Same thing as last year. I mean, it took maybe 6 hours, not even that, to fill up. I mean, we had yes. We'll be there. I think pretty soon we might have to expand this a day or two and get some more teams, maybe not only from this league, but to showcase against other leagues too.
Yeah, so a lot more development coming for this Vegas Showcase, and we're excited to come back here in December. Our second announcement, because I mentioned there are multiple, and I think this is one that we're all at this table most excited for, is we have a new show coming to YouTube Live centered around the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League. Above the Ice will make its debut in the coming months, so tune in to YouTube Live for that. All the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League
came up
social
with
media
that name?
channels. I think it was you.
Our name
It
come
was
up
you.
with her.
Yeah, the name
Our name come up
with her.
with her.
Can I have it? Is that my title?
That is your title.
Name
Oh,
comes
I just started it.
and show idea.
After those words, we certainly know it wasn't you who came up with the name.
and the show idea.
The show idea. So above
Well,
the ice will be
my
coming-
grammar's not great.
Above the Ice will be our new magazine show here for the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League. We're going to follow all the aspects of the league around. We're going to find some special interest stories. We're going to follow a day in the life of a referee. We're going to do all these different stories that we were able to come up with. And you know what? If you have a special story surrounding one of your teams in the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League, let us know, and perhaps it could be featured on Above the Ice, which is coming soon to YouTube Live. So stick around for that. It's going to be a good time. I know we're going to have fun with it. We've been talking about this for months. We can't wait to get it going.
Yeah, I think this is a great opportunity for us to kind of grow and develop our opportunity to bring information to you guys, the fans, the parents, the players, and really showcase some of the real interesting stories that revolve around the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League. There are so many of them, but Eric, you are right. If anybody does have any information, do not hesitate to let us know about it, and we'd sure love to show people what stories are out there.
And we're growing. We're getting more shows out there. You guys want more ADHSHL coverage? We're going to bring it to you this year. So we're looking forward to that. Our third and fourth announcements are kind of tied together a little bit. We're going to start with the report card itself. The format of this show, as you know it, is ending tonight. This is the last time
Goodbye.
that the three of us are going to sit at a table and do this 1 hour long format type of recap of the league. It's going to be a little bit different the next time you hear from us. We're going to convert it. We're going to shrink it down a little bit. It's going to go down to a half hour, but we're going to bring you all the highlights that we can from the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League and do a more news update format show where you get to see the highlights, you get to see the stats. It's more of your nightly update thing. That will happen on the same regularity that we do now. We'll still be having 12 episodes or so. We're going to show you highlights and stats and a more quick-paced, get you caught up on everything in the ADHSHL simply because we have so many games to cover now.
Exactly.
We don't have time to not talk about the games. We have to get them all in, and we're going to switch to that format coming soon.
Yeah, I think that's as we evolve from a league, we're also evolving from our show standpoint. So the report card is evolving and changing, but we have Above the Ice as well, which is going to showcase special interests, and then we have a few other things that are in the works and on the back burner as well.
And our final announcement, and this one may be the biggest of all, and it's making us all chuckle a little bit because it's gonna be a great time. You've seen him on camera before on the report card and his hosting chops. You see him right there in the middle. He filled in for me once during last season, and he did a darn good job. But you know what? He did such a great job that we figured we're just going to make it permanent. So this is my last time hosting the report card here on the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League YouTube live channel. And Christian Ilton is going to take over the reins. He's going to be the new host, starting with our new format. There he is. Christian, congratulations. Welcome to the show. Can't wait to have you here in the middle seat.
Thanks, Eric. Did you, Chuck, did you like it when I crossed the walkway but didn't trip on everything?
Maybe when I leave, I can follow your suit.
Yeah, it'll be no, but I'm really excited. You mentioned it was your guys' 11th year. It's my 10th year with the league, starting back with announcing at Orange Lutheran, and even then announcing for this guy, Mike Perkins. He would always help me out when I was doing for other teams like Jay Sarah, and so I'm excited to actually get to be able to host the show a lot. We had a lot of fun last year when I had the Santa Margarita Eagles on, and it'll be a lot of fun this week. You ready to hang out a little bit more with me, Chuck? What about you, Perky?
I'm really looking forward to it.
And you had no idea that was your test show. You had no idea.
Not even a little.
That's what that was for, to make sure that you could do it and make sure I was okay with letting you sit here.
Wow.
Is that what it was?
Oh, my goodness. Let me scoot over. I don't think this head can hang bigger.
Well, I am very glad that I passed the test. No, I'm excited. And we're going to have a lot of exciting stuff coming up on the report card for everybody this year. Like you said, it's going to be a little bit more of a highlight reel and standings format, but it should be a lot of fun, and we're really excited for the report card this year.
Well, we're so glad you could do this. We can't wait to see what you do with the show. I know I'm excited. I appreciate you coming in here and taking over the reins. I know it's in good hands. I wanted you to do this, and thanks for coming in. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what you can do.
It's kind of like this microphone. It's in my hands right now.
Another one's going down.
Another one's going
good.
down. So I might go back on the other side to finish up the production style on this side. Chuck, you can have it back now.
There we go. And the last thing,
there you go.
The last thing too is if it wasn't for Christian, these shows wouldn't even get on the air. He's been our technical director and handling all the camera work that we've been doing, trying to grow our media empire around this high school hockey league. So we want to thank him for all that. Don't worry, all the stuff on the back end will be fine. We'll take care of that. But he needs to move in front of the camera.
Peas aren't popping perfect pop. Just making sure. Just double check. Just double check.
Listen,
Also,
Chris,
I was kidding about that test show thing. The one test was he just had to make sure not to trip over the cord when he came over here. That was the only qualification.
I was just going to say Christian does a fantastic job on both sides of the table here, and we're really fortunate and excited to have him aboard here on this side of the table here moving forward. So we're just going to have to train a few people on the backside then.
That's all we have to do, and we're going to figure that out. I think you might know somebody.
I think I know somebody.
From what I understand. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, all right. Well, that's going to do it for our Season 3 premiere of the report card here on YouTube Live. And, boy, it's always good to be back on the air. I can't believe another season is upon us, and we get to kick it off here in Vegas.
No kidding. And you know what? No better place to do so. I think it's a perfect opportunity to get to talk to the Knights a little bit about their teams and get kind of a retreat style between us, but shows ideas and just a great time with great people.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, want to give a huge shout out to Andrew Stewart and Darren Elliott from the Vegas Golden Knights for letting us set up and use their building here to do this show. They are a couple of stand-up gentlemen. They helped us set up this whole giddy up you see in front of us here today. So big thank you to them for everything they've done to us.
The logo.
Yeah, that's hand painted. They did this just before we got on the air. It still hasn't dried yet. No, they did a great job with that too. Unbelievable. All right. And, of course, a big thanks to the Commissioner, Matt Blanchard, who is our executive producer of the report card and pretty much everything else that we do for the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League. So big thank you to him for getting this all put together. And, boys, it's going to be a fun season in this league. We can't wait to drop the puck already. I know we still got, a month and a half, 2 months away. But
teams are just starting to get on the ice right now, so.
We couldn't wait, so we decided let's just do a summer show and kick this thing off and get everybody ready for everything else coming down the pipeline. I think it was a good idea.
That was a great idea. You couldn't ask for better idea or better accommodations. Great idea, and let's do it next year.
Yeah, sounds great.
We're already planning next year?
Hey.
Yeah, you know how that works.
All right.
That's what we like.
It's
Fine
a
by
10-year. It's a
me.
10-year. We gotta get it going. Honestly, so 10-year of the official league. Is that the way to say it? Yeah, the official league.
Yes, the official. Officially,
league.
it'll be
the officially
10 years.
the official
Yes.
10 years of the official league. Is that
All
better?
right. Yes.
Are my peas still popping?
We've
No?
officially lost our minds.
Peter Piper
That's-
picked a
that's
pack of
enough.
pickles. Okay, there we go.
For the Iceman, Mike
Thank you.
Perkins, and the Laser, Chuck Lasik, I'm Eric Pesolano saying so long from City National Arena. You have been watching the Season 3 premiere of the Report Card right here on YouTube Live. We'll see you next time, everybody. Bye-bye.